Okay, we last left off talking about the three different body types, and we came to this body type called the hybrid. The hybrid is when two body types come together, which is like an ectomorph and a mesomorph, or a mesomorph and an endomorph. And there's a few athletes out there that has that body type, and they do exceptionally well in athletes. They do exceptionally well in athletic. They do exceptionally well in sports. I'm gonna name a few: Serena Williams, Shaquille O'Neal, Bo Jackson, Mike Tyson. Now, I'm gonna pick one out just to give you a really good understanding of what I'm talking about. Mike Tyson was the youngest heavyweight champion of the world, and I think he was around the age of 19. Mike Tyson was knocking out super grown men. And I mean, he was knocking them out. They couldn't last one round with him. They couldn't last like a minute with him. He was just destroying them. This dude had power and he had speed. Power and speed. Power and speed. Even when they would try to block his punches, they still was absorbing damage. He would knock people out from hitting them in the body. That's how strong and fast he was. Okay, now we're gonna talk about the age category. You got your 20s, you got your 30s, you got your 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, and 100 if you make it that far. But first is the 20s. When you in your 20s, you have a big buffer to make mistakes. The categories that we're going to touch on is human anatomy, body development, rest, nutrition, gym, and exercise. All right, the first thing we're going to talk about is the human anatomy. Now, when you're in your 20s, you got a lot of hormones racing through your body. You got HGH, you got testosterone, you got IGF-1, you got insulin, you got cortisol, you got adrenaline, you got all these different hormones just trying to maximize and help you grow, because you're in your 20s. You're not a fully developed human being yet, in spite of that little peach fuzz you might have on your face, or for girls that's growing breasts and stuff like that. You're not a fully grown adult yet. Not yet. Definitely in your early 20s. So when you have all these different hormones, and most of your hormones come from your pancreas, your liver, kidneys, adrenal glands. You got all these things racing, and then you got your nervous system. You got your central nervous system, you got the parasympathetic nervous system, and you got your sympathetic nervous system. You got all these different nervous systems running, and it's trying to grow and take you to your full potential of a fully grown adult. And that's the best time for you to lift weights, if you choose to lift weights. But this is just a window when you can optimize and get to a fully grown state at its normal time. All right, next we're going to talk about development. Development meaning your body composition. Let me explain what body composition is. Body composition deals with your muscles and your bone structure. That's what body composition is. It's not fat and it's not water weight, because water itself doesn't have a function. Neither does fat. Fat is stored energy. Water weight, but you have water inside your cells and water outside the cells, and you have water soluble vitamins and you got fat soluble vitamins, right? The thing, what I mean by it doesn't have a function, meaning like your muscle has a function, the tissue connected to your nerves, it has a function, it can contract. Fat does not have movement at all. Neither does water. So muscle, tissue, muscle fibers, and bone, that's what makes you, not fat. I know a lot of people, when they look in the mirror, they think that, oh, this is me, and they look at themselves and they overweight, and it's like, no, that's not really you. That's just a fat covered version of you. The real you is, we'll say the normal for females, 13% body fat. For males, it's like 10% body fat, right? That, once you get your body down to that level of body fat, which is normal and healthy, that's when you can really see what you look like, how your body structure is. Whether you can tell whether you're ectomorph, mesomorph, or endomorph. I'm gonna post a picture like right there or right there of what I looked like when I was 215 pounds. I'm 5'11", y'all, 5'11 and a half. I'm almost 6 feet. At me at 215 pounds, I just look lumpy. Like, you know, I was in the gym lifting weights and stuff like that, but I was lumpy. That's what your body composition is. And the best time for you to build muscle, because your body is trying to get to its optimal level of growth, is in your 20s. And there's no real rush because you got like 10 years. 10 years is a long time to be building muscle and stuff like that in your 20s. You can take your time. There is no rush unless you're getting paid. It's more than enough time, because after the first couple years, we'll just say 5 years after lifting weights consistently with the right formula of, you know, reps, gym frequency and things of that sort, you can pack on a lot of muscle in 5 years. You know what I mean? Within 5 years, you could be a good fully grown male. And then the muscle growth will slowly decrease as you get towards the end of 20. The next thing we're going to talk about is rest and recovery. We're going to talk about these things first before we get into that other stuff. Rest is so important when you're in your 20s. Have you noticed, like, kids can sleep for hours? If you don't wake a kid up, most of the time, they won't wake up because their body is growing. You do most of your growing and recovering from damage when you sleep, not when you're awake. So with children, kids, you know, preteens, something like that, you know, toddlers, they're growing most of the time in their sleep. They do a lot of sleep. 8 hours to a child to sleep is nothing. Kids can sleep for 12 hours. I remember I used to do the junk all the time. My sister used to do the junk all the time too. You know what I mean? If you didn't wake us up, even when you did wake us up, we didn't even want to get up because we were just so deep in sleep, and sleep felt so good because our bodies it was growing. Remember that your hormones is high, which is your melatonin. Melatonin keeps you asleep. You're going to stay asleep longer because the body knows that in order for you to grow, most of the growth is being done while you sleep. Now, when you're in your 20s, it's fairly easy to go to sleep. You know, as you get older, your body is not growing as much and is not going through as much maintenance. Not necessarily maintenance from damage, but maintenance from just growth. That's how the sleep is when you're in your 20s. Okay, now we're going to talk about nutrition. When you're in your 20s, nutrition is very important. Nutrition is so important. It is the fuel that is going to promote growth and balance and help your organs function properly. You do not want to be deficient in vitamins because that's what your organs use for fuel, right along with your macros too. But it's very important to get your RDA for your trace minerals, and your vitamins. Vitamin A, B, C, D, E, and K. When you just eat a lot of junk, you can get away with eating junk when you're in your 20s. But at the same time, you're not going to be at your best. The best thing to do is, if you got kids or something like that, or if you know a guy that's in his 20s and he's trying to lift weights and stuff like that, try to not focus so much on the protein. Because just as protein is important, but vitamins, trace minerals, and minerals is overall more important. Because what's the sense of having protein when you lacking vitamin C, or you lacking vitamin B, or K, or E, or any of them? You don't want to be deficient, because that's when your body starts to break down and you're more susceptible to illnesses, and it weakens your immune system because it's not getting the nutrients that it needs. So it's good to get in the habit at 20 to get your vitamins in. And I ain't talking about them old whack doggone multivitamin little pill tablets and all that stuff. No, I'm talking about eating your vegetables. The little bitty small bowls that you get with those little dish sets and stuff like that, it's really not enough unless you're eating multiple salads a day. Most people don't eat multiple salads a day. So it's just better to just eat one big bowl of salad, and your body your body breaks down salad a whole lot faster, so you don't feel full for long periods of time. You only feel it for like a short period of time, because it only takes like 30 minutes for your body to digest, meaning break down, in the stomach. The absorption comes in your small intestines. Try out different vegetables, because some people can't digest certain vegetables. Now, this is a little tip for you. Did you know that all the vegetables are not all over the world? Some vegetables were imported from other countries. They sold seeds to different countries who didn't have certain vegetables. So some people's body, that just goes to show, some people's body is just never was designed, demographically, to even consume certain vegetables, because it wasn't even around. And if it's not around, that means that your body did not produce the enzymes to even break those vegetables down. So that's why you gotta have a big variety. You just can't just go with the 4 sticks of asparagus. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta be a little more creative than that, or that pile of broccoli, because some people can't even digest broccoli. Keep the variety open. All right, now exercising 4 to 5 times a week, that should be efficient enough, right? And you got to learn your body in the process. You got to learn what works. You might just need only 4 versus 5. Maybe you need a little bit more recovery time based upon, how many sets and reps you're doing, or what types of exercise you're doing. I always recommend full body. I used to do the bro splits and stuff like that, but full body works best for me. If you do the science on the full body and stuff like that, you kind of like get more out of it than your bro splits, because when you do bro splits, you can damage the muscle so much to the point where you can't your recovery is not enough time. So when you do a full body, and it's easier, I will say this, it's easier for your body to stay symmetry, or to become symmetry. That means even. Instead of doing chest day, say you do too much chest, not enough back, or you do too much back, not enough arms or legs or something like that. So when you do full body is way better. It's way better. That's just my opinion. You know what I mean? Hey, you do what you want to do. In order to build muscle, when you go to the gym, it's 5 things that you definitely should focus on. Is good form. You need good form, because when you have bad form, you basically take away the intensity of the muscle that you're trying to target. So you say you're trying to do a bicep exercise, and you know how you see people, they'll try to rock up and lean with their back and swinging with their back and stuff like that. Some of their back and the swinging motion is taken away from the intensity of your bicep. And it's a bicep exercise, so all the focus and attention needs to be on your bicep, not your lower back. Don't be swinging from your legs and stuff like that, because then it takes away from what? Your bicep. So then you be like, oh, well, my biceps are not growing, or I hit a plateau. You didn't really hit a plateau. You just lifting too much. You need to tone it down, focus, and keep the intensity on the muscle. Next, you got mind-muscle connection. Mind-muscle connection and good form runs hand in hand. Because if you got good form, it's easier for you to have good mind-muscle connection. So when you're in the gym, make sure that you're looking at the mirror so you can see the contraction of the muscle. You got time over tension. All right, now time over tension is how much time the intensity is on the muscle. So no resting in between the reps. So don't you know how people in the gym, they go like this? Every time you pull it down, one is going down and one is up. So when it's down, it's resting. And then the other one goes up and the other one goes down and it is resting. So one is always resting in between reps. Next, we have hypertrophy. Hypertrophy is that burning sensation that you get in your muscle after having a lot of time over tension, which is the lactic acid buildup is inside your muscle. That's what hypertrophy is, and that's what you want to aim for when you lifting weights. Then you have progressive overload. Progressive overload is basically you slowly increasing the weight, maybe gym session after gym session, maybe by 5 or maybe 2.5 pounds or 10 pounds every time you do that exercise, and you recover from it. But you have to recover from the last gym session in order to continue to do progressive overload. Last but not least, you have injury. When you get injured in your 20s, it's easier for you to bounce back because your body is still in a growing stage. And like I said before, your hormones is trying to continue to build, and it's working at its optimal level to build. That's all the body wants to do is build in your 20s. So even if you do injure yourself without, destroying yourself, your body can recover from those injuries, which, like my mother used to say, when you're in your 20s, you're like a spring chicken. All right, that's it for today. Yo, you take care of yourself. I take care of myself. We take care of each other. Hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and share it with somebody, because I know somebody need to hear this.